All right, we're getting into the ordering now, so these can get a little bit more complicated, but don't let them scare you. The most important thing is making notes on your scratch paper when you read the problem. This says put the following numbers in descending order. That D means you're going down. If you're going down, that means you're starting with the big numbers and you're going down to the smaller numbers. When you make these notes, you don't forget where you're going and you don't make silly mistakes. You don't get confused. The next thing I do is I would write down all these numbers on my piece of paper. Then I would draw lines in between them and I would look carefully. The only one that's a percent is 2.3%. The rest of them all have to be changed to a percent. So let's come over here to our calculator. We're going to look at 0.23 times 100, and that makes it 23%. The only thing that you'll never change into a percent is something that is already a percent. Otherwise, you put it in the calculator, just like I'm going to do the next one. 2.3 times 10 to the third power. I'm going to make sure I'm back down. I'm going to multiply that by 100 to change that scientific notation into a percent. And that gives me a very large number, but don't let it scare you. 230,000%. Okay. 2.3% is already there, so the next one is a fraction. So let's put it in our calculator. 1 divided by 5. I'm going to click so I move over. You can use your right arrow. Times 100 to put that into a percent. And that gives me 20%. You notice that I leave everything on my calculator. That way I can go back and make sure that I typed it all in correctly. 0.23 times 100 gave me 23%. 2.3 times 10 to the third power times 100 gave me 230,000%. 2.3% I didn't have to put in my calculator, but I did put in 1/5 times 100 to give me 20%. So if this is descending order, we're going from biggest to smallest. Well, it's easy to see what the biggest one is. So 2.3 times 10 to the third would be first on our answer. Now let's see. 23, 2.3, 20. The next biggest one is the 23%, which is written as 0.23 in original form. Then came the 20%, which is written as 1/5 in original form. And finally, the 2.3% is our smallest. All right, so that's not too hard. As long as you stay organized and, like I said, use your calculator. Don't erase things. That way you can see if you make any kind of mistake. Okay? If you ever have a question on how to use the calculator, just ask us and we're going to help you. All right? So let's go to the next problem and see what we can find. Okay? This says put the following numbers in ascending order. And I told you to remember that an A looks like an arrow going up. So if we're going up, that means we're starting with small and then we're going toward bigger numbers. We're going up. So again, I would write it on my paper. I would draw these lines. I'd look and I see that not one of these is a percent. So I'm going to have to change everything. So I'm going to start left to right. I'm going to go in order. 5.05 times 100 makes this 505%. The next one is 23 divided by 4 times 100, which gives me 575%. The next one is the square root of 28. I'm going to use my right arrow, move over, times 100. This one gives me 529%. And then finally the last one is 5.5. So it's 5, then you hit your space bar, 1 divided by 2 Move it over with your right arrow, times 100 gives you 550%. So this is ascending, so that means we're smalling with the smallest number, which if you compare 505%, 575%, 529%, and 550%, looks like the 505 is definitely the smallest, so I write original form. So I'm going to put a check there so I know I've used it. The next smallest number looks like this 529%, which is written as the square root of 28. The next smallest one is the 550, which is written as 5 1/2. And finally, the largest is the 575%, which is written as 23/4. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and stop this video here, and then I'll put some more problems on the next one. All right?